In this module, students will be able to explain how to get off probation and the difference between continued probation and disqualification. When reading about SJSU policies, it is important to understand terminology that may not be clear to you. For instance, you will often hear different GPAs such as overall GPA, term GPA. Depending on your specific probation, you will need to understand which GPA you must raise. For students on academic probation, their goal must be to raise their institution or SJSU GPA. Remember that you are on academic probation because your SJSU GPA is below a 2.0. Therefore, once you raise your SJSU GPA to a 2.0 and above, you will be taken off probation. However, getting off probation can take more than one semester, in which case you can be on continued major probation until you have raised your institution GPA. If you do not show progress, however, then you could be disqualified or DQ'd from However, getting off probation can take more than one semester, in which case you can be on continued probation until you have raised your institution GPA. If you do not show progress, then you will be disqualified or DQ'd. To explain continued probation and disqualification, I will present 3 scenarios. Okay, in scenario 1, the student enters spring 2018. They are technically in good standing at this point because their SJSU GPA here is a 2.0 or above. The student continues to do well in the following semesters so that they can remain in good standing. This is the ideal scenario. The second scenario ends with the student being disqualified. Similar to scenario 1, the student enters spring 2018 in good standing. However, in scenario 2, the student's SJSU GPA is below a 2.0. It is at this point that they are considered on probation. The only way to get off academic probation is to raise their SJSU GPA, which means fall 2018 will be a very important semester. If at the end of this semester, the student's semester GPA and university GPA is still below a 2.0, they are unfortunately going to be disqualified that semester. The only way to become a matriculated student at this point is to raise their grades above a 2.0 as an open university student. This is why it is important to take the semester seriously so you can avoid being disqualified. There is one exception to this rule. Freshmen on academic probation are allowed a second consecutive semester of probation if their SJSU cumulative GPA is in the range of 1.5 to 1.99. This last scenario explains being on continued probation. If in the fall 2018 term, the student gets a term GPA of 2.0 and above, but their SJSU GPA is still below a 2.0, then they will not be disqualified. They will be considered on continued probation. The student can remain on continued probation until they reach good standing or get disqualified. To recap, to get off academic probation, you must raise your SJSU GPA above a 2.0. The difference between continued probation and disqualification is that continued probation means that although your SJSU GPA is below a 2.0, your term GPA shows progress because it is above a 2.0. Thus, you get another semester to get back on good standing. Otherwise, if both SJSU and term GPA are below a 2.0, you will be disqualified.